What if I told you the best Florida travel advice you've seen is actually designed to drain your wallet? There's a reason locals avoid the exact spots tourists flood to, and it has nothing to do with crowds. One of these 20 mistakes could genuinely ruin your entire vacation, and almost no one talks about it. Renting a car in Florida? Here's where most tourists get absolutely destroyed financially. Florida's a no-fault insurance state. That means you need something called personal injury protection coverage. Rental companies know this and charge 15 to 30 bucks a day for it. Adds up fast. But here's the kicker, your auto insurance from back home might not cover you here. I learned this the hard way in Tampa. Almost drove off the lot completely exposed. And get this, about 20% of Florida drivers have zero insurance. 1 in 5 cars on the road. So that uninsured motorist coverage the rental agent pushes, actually worth considering. Now, before you pay for collision damage waiver at the counter, call your credit card company. Many cards cover this free if you decline the rental company's offer. Skip all coverage and get into a wreck? You're looking at $10,000 to $50,000 out of pocket. Speaking of hidden costs that blindside tourists, that $129 hotel room you found? Yeah, it's actually $174. Welcome to Florida's resort fee scam. Hotels slap on mandatory charges, 25 to 50 bucks per night. For amenities you'll probably never touch. A gym you won't use. Wi-Fi that should be free anyway. A pool you'll visit once. The sneaky part? These fees often hide until checkout, or they're buried in tiny print on the final booking page. It's like buying a car and finding out the steering wheel costs extra. Here's your defense. ResortFeeChecker.com lists current fees for Florida properties. Bookmark it. Also, vacation rentals and smaller motels typically charge zero resort fees. What you see is what you pay. One more trick, booking with hotel loyalty points sometimes waives these fees completely. But hidden hotel costs aren't your only budget killer. Here's the thing about Florida theme parks. They're designed to separate you from your money as efficiently as possible. And showing up at 11 a.m., that's basically handing them a winning lottery ticket. The real veterans arrive 30 to 60 minutes before gates officially open. This rope drop strategy lets you knock out 3 or 4 major rides while most tourists are still eating hotel breakfast. By the time crowds arrive, you've already conquered the headliners. Now, those skip-the-line passes, Disney's Genie Plus runs 15 to 35 bucks per person. Universal's Express Pass, anywhere from $80 to $300 depending on when you visit. Painful to pay, but they'll save you 4 or 5 hours of standing in Florida heat. And here's the insider move. That brutal 1 to 4 p.m. window when heat peaks and lines explode, use it for lunch, pool time, or air-conditioned shows. But even perfect park strategy won't help if you get slapped with an unexpected fine at the beach. Here's the thing about Florida beaches. They're not all created equal when it comes to cracking open a cold one. Clearwater Beach, bone dry. No alcohol allowed, period. Get caught with a beer and you're looking at a $500 fine. Destin? Same deal. Most state park beaches? Forget about it. But Miami Beach gets complicated. You can drink in certain spots, but glass containers are banned, coolers have size limits, and drinking near playgrounds gets you ticketed faster than you can say margarita. The really tricky part? One county might allow beach drinking while the county literally next door treats it like a felony. Fort Lauderdale even bans alcohol specifically from March through mid-April because spring breakers ruined it for everyone. Local cops patrol popular beaches like hawks during peak season. Now, location matters for more than just alcohol rules. Here's the thing about Florida's coasts. They're completely different experiences. Gulf Coast beaches, we're talking Tampa, Naples, Clearwater, have water so calm it's basically a bathtub. Warmer too. Perfect if you've got little kids who freak out at waves. Atlantic side, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Cocoa Beach, that's where surfers go because the waves actually exist. But those currents don't mess around. And here's what most people don't realize. Gulf sunsets are legendary since you're facing west. Atlantic gives you stunning sunrises if you're crazy enough to wake up that early. Water temperature varies by 5 to 8 degrees between coasts. That matters more than you'd think. The two coasts sit 2 to 4 hours apart. So no, you can't casually see both in an afternoon. But timing your visit wrong? That's an even bigger problem. Spring break sounds fun until you're stuck in traffic for 3 hours watching your hotel rate triple. Here's the thing. Spring break in Florida isn't 1 week. It's a rolling 6-week invasion from March through April as different schools release students at different times. 1 week Clearwater is manageable. The next week, absolute chaos. And it's not just college kids. Daytona's Bike Week in early March brings over 500,000 motorcycles. That's not a typo. 500,000 bikes rumbling through, and suddenly every hotel within 50 miles is booked solid. The week between Christmas and New Year's, that's when Florida hits maximum capacity. Theme parks literally stop letting people in. But here's the secret. Shift your trip by just 1 week in either direction. Same beaches, same parks. 40 to 60% cheaper hotels, way fewer crowds. Speaking of getting around, most tourists make one massive assumption about Florida transportation. Here's the thing about Florida that catches everyone off guard. You look at Google Maps, see your hotel is half a mile from a restaurant, and think, easy walk. Nope. That half mile probably has no sidewalk for 200 feet, crosses a 6-lane road with cars doing 50, and offers zero shade in 95-degree heat. Florida wasn't built for walking. It was built for cars, period. And the stats back this up. Florida leads the entire nation in pedestrian deaths. Drivers here simply aren't watching for people on foot, especially on those wide, fast roads that look like highways but technically aren't. Theme park areas trick people too. Disney's resorts look close together on maps, but close still means a bus ride, not a stroll. Now, about those restaurant reservations, everyone forgets. Space 220 at Disney? Good luck getting a table if you didn't book 60 days ago. Those reservations vanish faster than my patience in a theme park line. Miami's trendy spots like Carbone and Komodo, 2 to 4 weeks ahead for weekend dinners. Show up hoping to walk in, and you'll get laughed out the door. Character dining is even worse. Families wanting breakfast with princesses need to be online at exactly the 60-day mark, finger hovering over that book button like it's concert tickets. Here's a trick, though. OpenTable and Resy let you set cancellation alerts. People's plans change, tables open up, but relying on this during peak season is like playing the lottery. And those sunset waterfront tables, weeks in advance for that golden hour window. Now, booking restaurants is smart, but keeping your stuff safe, that's essential. Rental cars in Florida might as well have "Rob Me" painted on the side. Here's the thing. Florida ranks in the top 5 states for vehicle break-ins, and tourists are the favorite targets. Thieves spot rental cars instantly. Those barcode stickers, the out-of-state plates, the specific models that Hertz and Enterprise love. Dead giveaways. These guys work fast. 30 seconds flat. Smash the window, grab your laptop, gone before anyone notices. Hotel parking lots and beach access points are their favorite hunting grounds. And hiding stuff in the trunk only works if nobody watches you put it there. They'll wait until you walk away, then strike. The worst part is filing insurance claims for stolen items. Police reports, deductibles, weeks of paperwork, and you'll never get full replacement value anyway. Just bring valuables inside. Every single time. Speaking of protecting yourself, there's another financial trap international visitors fall into constantly. Here's the thing. International visitors don't realize until they're staring at their credit card statement back home. Every swipe in Florida hits you with a 1 to 3% foreign transaction fee. Sounds small, right? Multiply that across restaurants, hotels, theme parks, souvenirs, and gas stations. You're suddenly bleeding hundreds of dollars in invisible charges. And those currency exchange kiosks at the airport, total tourist traps. They advertise zero commission, while quietly giving you exchange rates 8 to 15% worse than what your bank offers. It's like paying a 15% tip to nobody. Smart move? Get a travel credit card with zero foreign transaction fees before you leave. Chase Sapphire, Capital One Venture, cards like that. Also, always choose to pay in the local currency at ATMs. Selecting your home currency triggers sneaky conversion fees. Now, packing for Florida creates its own expensive mistakes. Here's the thing about packing for Florida. You don't need half of what you're stuffing into that suitcase. Shorts, t-shirts, maybe a sundress, that's genuinely 95% of what you'll wear. Florida doesn't do formal. Even nice restaurants barely expect closed-toe shoes. And those jeans you packed just in case, They'll sit in your bag untouched while you sweat through humidity that makes heavy fabric feel like wearing a wet blanket. Most hotels have laundry rooms. A mid-trip wash beats lugging 14 outfits you'll never touch. One lightweight rain jacket handles both afternoon storms and restaurant air conditioning that's set to Arctic penguin habitat. Seriously, bring layers for indoors, not outdoors. Overpacking means wrestling heavy bags through Florida heat, paying checked bag fees, and returning home with clean clothes you never wore. But speaking of preparation, there's something you absolutely need on your phone before landing. Before you even leave for the airport, there's homework you need to do on your phone. My Disney Experience, Universal Orlando, SeaWorld. These apps aren't optional anymore. They're how you buy tickets, check wait times, book lightning lanes, and make dinner reservations. Show up without them downloaded? You're standing in the Florida sun, fumbling with slow Wi-Fi while everyone else breezes past you. Weather apps matter too, not your basic phone weather. Get Weather Underground or No AA for those hourly forecasts that help you dodge afternoon thunderstorms. Gas Buddy saves you from those highway robbery gas stations near theme parks charging 50 cents more per gallon, and download your maps offline. The Everglades don't care about your cell signal. Waiting until arrival wastes precious vacation time and burns through expensive data. But apps won't help if a hurricane decides to visit during your trip. Hurricane season runs from June through November. That's half the year. And here's what most tourists don't realize. A storm can form with just days of warning, cancel your entire trip, and leave you holding the bag for thousands in non-refundable bookings. Theme park tickets, gone. Hotel deposits, vanished. Flights, good luck getting a refund when weather event fine print kicks in. Travel insurance typically costs 5 to 10% of your total trip. Sounds like a lot until you're watching the news from your couch instead of the beach, wondering where your $3,000 went. But timing matters. You usually need to purchase within 14 to 21 days of your initial deposit to get the good coverage options. Your credit card's travel protection probably has more holes than Swiss cheese when it comes to weather events. Now, speaking of protection, let's talk about something closer to home. Your accommodation choice, that cheap hotel deal near the airport, it might cost you more than money. Florida's tourist reputation tricks people into thinking everywhere is equally safe. Not even close. Crime rates swing wildly between neighborhoods, sometimes just a few blocks apart. Parts of Orlando outside Disney property, certain Miami airport areas, and some downtown Tampa streets see theft and break-ins at rates that would shock most visitors. I learned this the hard way when a friend booked what looked like an amazing Airbnb deal. Great photos, vague location description. The neighborhood? Let's just say we didn't walk anywhere after dark. Here's the move. Read recent guest reviews specifically mentioning safety. Check crime maps online. Use Google Street View to virtually walk the streets before booking. Spending $20 or $30 more per night for a verified safe area beats stolen belongings or sleepless nights. Speaking of things you should bring with you, Florida's natural springs look like paradise. Crystal clear water, that gorgeous turquoise color. What the photos don't show? Those rocky limestone bottoms that'll slice your feet open like a cheese grater. I learned this the hard way at Ichitucknee. Stepped in barefoot, stepped out bleeding. And here's the thing. Many Gulf Coast beaches hide nasty surprises too. Sharp shells and broken coral lurking just below the waterline where you can't see them. Then there's the stingray problem. These guys bury themselves in shallow sandy areas near shore. The famous stingray shuffle helps, but water shoes add real protection. Buy them before you arrive. Beach shops charge $15 to $25 for the same pairs Walmart sells for $8. Oh, and summer sand hits 120 degrees. Your flip-flops will snap. Water shoes won't. Speaking of beach hazards, there's something else lurking around Florida's tourist spots. Florida tourist areas have professional panhandlers. And I mean professional. These folks work the same parking lots, outside theme parks, and beach boardwalks like it's a 9-to-5 job. Because for them, it is. The classic one? I just need gas money to get home. Heard that exact line from the same guy 3 days in a row outside a Walmart. His car must get terrible mileage. Then there's South Beach and International Drive, where costume characters jump into your photos uninvited. Smile, flash, and suddenly they're demanding $20. for a blurry picture with a knockoff SpongeBob. Those free scratch-off cards near attractions? Timeshare traps. That prize requires sitting through a 4-hour sales pitch where they'll try to sell you a vacation you're already on. Best defense? Zero eye contact. Keep walking. Polite refusals just invite negotiation. Speaking of ignoring good advice, when locals tell you not to swim somewhere, they're not being dramatic. They've seen what happens. Red flags at beaches mean rip currents that kill dozens of tourists every single year. Not challenging waves, actual death traps. Purple flags? That's jellyfish or Portuguese man-of-war territory. One sting sends you to the hospital screaming. And here's the scary one. Florida's warm fresh water can harbor brain-eating amoeba during summer months. Getting water up your nose in certain lakes isn't just gross, it's potentially fatal. Lightning strikes kill more people in Florida than any other state. If thunder rumbles, you're already a target. Get inside immediately. I learned this the hard way watching a local physically pull a tourist away from what looked like a peaceful pond. 2 alligators surfaced seconds later. Locals aren't paranoid. They're experienced. But Florida dangers aren't just natural. Some wear name tags and carry clipboards. Here's something your wallet will thank you for. Florida restaurants practically invented the early bird special. Show up between 4 and 6 p.m., and suddenly that $28 seafood platter drops to $17. Same shrimp, same chef, smaller bill. But here's what most tourists miss entirely. Lunch menus at fancy waterfront spots often feature the exact same dishes as dinner. Half the price. Better parking. No reservations needed. Why does this exist? Blame the snowbirds. Those seasonal residents from up north trained Florida restaurants decades ago to fill seats during off-peak hours. Now, everyone benefits. One more trick that actually works. Just ask. Many places have unadvertised early bird deals they only mention if you bring it up first. Speaking of saving money, the next mistake wastes cash in a completely different way. Here's the thing about Florida. Most tourists treat it like a theme park with beaches attached. They shuttle between Disney and Miami Beach, eat at the same chain restaurants, and go home thinking they've done Florida. They haven't. Real Florida? It's 20 minutes from wherever you're standing. Anna Maria Island has that old Florida vibe without the high-rise hotels. Cedar Key feels like time forgot it existed. And the natural springs, crystal clear water, 72 degrees year-round, and entry costs less than a theme park churro. Want authentic Cuban food? Skip Miami's tourist traps and hit Tampa's Ybor City. Craving seafood that actually came from Florida waters? Everglades City serves stone crab the fishermen caught that morning. State parks like Miyaka showcase ecosystems you won't find anywhere else on Earth for under $10. But speaking of money, here's where tourists really get burned. Tourist traps have perfected the art of separating you from your money while giving you the most generic Florida experience possible. Those airboat rides marketed outside theme parks, $40 to $80 for 30 minutes of noise. Local operators deeper in the Everglades charge $25 to $35 for longer rides with way better wildlife sightings. Seashell shops crack me up. They're selling imported shells from the Philippines when Sanibel Island beaches give you the real deal for free at low tide. And those dolphin encounter facilities charging $200 for 15 minutes in a concrete pool. Wild dolphins swim past Florida piers every single day. Bring binoculars, skip the helicopter tours and manufactured adventures. Kayak through mangroves for $20 instead. Snorkel a reef, hike a nature preserve, ask locals where they eat, check food blogs. The authentic Florida experiences cost less and deliver more. That's how you do Florida right.